Now, I took a big risk towards the end of 2022 when I decided to close down my removal business to pursue rebuilding cars, which is one of my passions. But the thing is, I have none of the skills to do it. So when I bought this DB11 from a salvage auction, I was taking a massive risk and I was definitely jumping in at the deep end. But having said that, we've seemed to have sort of, so far, got through it. I graduated with a 2-2 from the University of YouTube, watched a few videos, scraped through, and here we are rebuilding the car. So last episode you obviously saw that the bonnet didn't fit, so I've already been up to Yorkshire, 10-hour drive there and back, horrible traffic with a trailer. Not something I want to repeat again, but it looks a lot better. So we've finally got the bonnet here, and as we suspected, it's just the one little dent here and then one there. But ignoring the dents, I thought it looked in great nick for the price. As you can see, we have got the bonnet lined up, ready to go onto the car. Hopefully it lines up, fingers crossed. But I've already shown you me put one of these on, so we're just gonna, voila, it's on. So yeah, nothing else really to do but moment of truth. How will it line up? Come on. And thankfully, the bonnet seemed to line up okay. Come along here, and that closes. Obviously we can do some adjustments to get it level, but it is closing pretty much on it. And that's down. And then pretty much the same tail over here. Line-up's pretty good. Bit bent at the end here, which again, that can be worked on quite easily. But on the whole, it actually looks like that fits. Okay, so one thing with this bonnet is that where the sort of dent is down here, it is causing this bit to lift up a little bit down here. So we won't get it spot on, but I'm sure the body shop will be able to pull that out and get this straighter for us as well. So that should be okay. And I've figured out with the bumper that I need to actually use the adjusters to make the clearance a bit better. If I showed you over here, I mean that gap, I mean I can fit my hand through there. But I've started adjusting it on the other side just to kind of as a bit of a trial. And as you can see, that's looking a lot better. I still need to do more, but it's better than it was. So I figured out how to do that and how to close that gap. But in the meantime, I want to get on with the alloys. Now, they don't look very good. And this is what I mean. I mean, this is the front left, front right actually has come off. And as you can see, this has been chewed up completely. And also this one here, which is the rear left, is in a very bad way. So we're gonna refurb both of those. And surprisingly, this one's actually okay, considering the state of the other ones. This one seems pretty good. I've tried to get spray paint that is the same color as this, but we'll see on the other alloys how that comes out. But if it is very slightly out, I might have to respray this, but it should be pretty close. I've gone for graphite gray. And then of course, there's just this one that we've picked up. Now, it's not too bad. It's just got a couple of smaller scrapes. So this should actually be quite quick to sort of fix up. I'm just gonna give it a light sand down. Obviously, remove this hub because we got the correct one on the broken alloy, which is over there. But for now, we're gonna start with this one as it's an easy one, spray it, see what the color looks like, compare it to the other one, and go from there. So, let's do it. As the alloys went in too bad shape here, I used 320 grit sandpaper to gently smooth it out. There is a reason I'm doing these off the car. Firstly, well, it's easier. But secondly, let me explain. I watched a guy on YouTube doing this. Sorry, it's quite funny. Doing this on his car. And he did everything very well, even prepped it. He had like special deck of cards. Well, not special, but just a deck of cards that he put around here just to stop any spray going on here. But because it was on the car, if I come over here, he forgot to cover anything underneath it. So he ended up spraying his whole disc and caliper. So bless him, he was trying to go the extra mile and he just forgot one of the most important bits to just cover that. So I'm actually just removing that from the equation completely and we're doing it on here. Now obviously I put this plastic underneath it and I am going to layer some paper around here now. I don't have a deck of cards, but I've got some paper that I'll just keep folding up to give it some strength. Yeah, we'll cut back in a sec. Okay, well this took me about 5 minutes to prep. So what I've done is I've just gone around the edges with masking tape, and I've just used some removal tape and paper to cover the rest. Now, I wasn't sure whether to cover this, but I've referenced it against that one. I've taken it off and compared, and that is a darker colour, so we are going to keep it on and it will be sprayed as well. Obviously we want this underside down here to get sprayed too, so we're going to start on this side and then flip it later once it's dried and spray the other side as well. So on with the primer.
Take me out, I wanna see big, big lights, they shine on me. I wanna lay my head and feel the beat. That's my way. That's my way.
Okay, now whilst that is drying away, I'll show you the paint I've gone for. Alloy wheel paint, and we've gone graphite grey, it does say somewhere. Can't even remember now. There you go, metallic graphite. And it looks sort of close to that one there. It was the closest I could find anyway. It might be that I don't like this colour and I redo it anyway, because I want to basically keep it like that. It looks so sharp. But I definitely didn't want it the silver that this was, so hopefully we can keep it like that.
It's not a big thing, but it's so hard. Now that you've touched my useless.
So no, this is the first coat on now, and look how it's coming out. This looks beautiful. Really shiny already. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. We'll get another couple of coats I think on this, and then we'll let it dry and be on with the next.
Having laid down a couple coats of the colour, I then followed up with a couple coats of clear to get the alloy shiny.
And look at that, couple of layers of clear coat, and it looks good as new. Really happy with how this has come out. But anyway, that was the easier one, so now onto the more difficult ones. So onto the next alloy. I've already removed the centerpiece. As you can see, this is the curb work all the way around here, and also some down here, but other than that it does look pretty good. So we're just going to focus on these two spots. The rest I'm pretty happy with. I'm going to have to respray it, but yeah, it's not too bad. Let's give it a go.
There's no doubts and no regret. Happy before we get another day to do it all again. Oh, throwing open all the curtains wide. Oh, not gonna miss a thing. Oh, nothing's promised to you in this life, but it's there for us to take. So live well, be bold, be brave.
Now, it's not a perfect job by any stretch of the imagination, but this is now all completely smooth around here, which just feels incredible compared to what it was before. There are still sort of little overhanging bits here, and to be honest, I've debated putting filler in, but I don't know, I don't really trust myself with filler. I think when you're looking at it down almost sort of on top of it, that's how it's going to look. You're not going to notice the bits around the back. I did manage to get rid of this sort of spiky bits, just using my crowbar and mallet just to sort of almost chisel them out, and that worked absolutely fine. So I'm kind of happy with this now anyway. Like I say, it's not a perfect job, but it's a DIY job, you know. It's not going to be perfect. But anyway, let's get it prepared for paint. Another one prepped here, as you can see. Looking all right. I don't need to go too much low, I don't think, on the tyre, because I'm going to be spraying from on top anyway. Or at least that's my thinking, but you never know. But anyway, this is looking, well, it feels so smooth now. It's really nice. But yeah, we'll get spraying.
There's no doubts and no regret. Happy before we get another day to do it all again.
Doing this on a few alloys was of course quite a repetitive process, but it was a pretty straightforward routine. Sand it, clean it, primer, colour and clear. then repeat on the next side.
Okay, well this is the third wheel now, obviously the rear left prepared. To be honest, it's not perfect. These bits are just actually very deep and near on impossible to get out. I've done the best I can, but you know, it's not a perfect job, but it's not bad. Considering what all of this looked like, it's going to look a lot better, and I'm not going to feel embarrassed taking this on the road. A lot of you are probably thinking, why am I bothering to spray the underside? And well, the thing is, these have come sort of with almost like a black background. And you can see the sort of silver lining underneath the alloy here in the back bit. And it's actually affecting the way the alloy looks in terms of its color. So these actually look a slightly darker shade. They're obviously the same spray paints, but because this is reflecting the light and that's absorbing a lot more, this is coming up a darker, more mean gray, which I prefer. So I'm going to actually spray the back of these black, and that should give a really mean, aggressive colour. Well, that's what I'm thinking anyway. I don't know how they've managed to do this. Previous owner has just curved the inside. I've never seen that before. Oh gosh, this must have had a pretty harsh life. So I'm actually going to sand this down a bit first, and then we're going to get it ready for spraying. So we're going to basically spray the whole of this black. For some reason this has been left, this top bit, so I'll probably leave that as well. But then we're just going to spray all the rest black.
This only took me a moment, and whilst nobody would ever see this side, I knew it would drive me crazy if I left it.
Okay, well I'm happy with that. Obviously this is going to be off display, so it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was anyway. So we're going to dry it down, give it a clean, and then we're going to prepare it for paint.
Sure that it'll be easier to clear you from my mind. Struggle with dusty corners till we're filled with faded bombs. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Situation.
Onwards to these two, and unlike the other one, the inside is fine, so no need to sand it off. So I'm just going to clean. I mean, this one needs a big clean up. Give it a clean, dry it off, prep it for paint.
I use masking tape to cover the gaps properly between the alloy and tyre before then covering the rest of the tyre with regular tape.
The table stand, the screws were loose. I guess you had life. I wish you fall out from the window, take a bad trip to the ground. Ooh. And bring the pleasure, see your pressure just before you break apart.
With both alloys now prepared, it was showtime.
You're reflecting, I'm deflecting, burning tires to move on. Too many noises, clash the choices, future came and left like ghosts. No more messing, no caressing, heavy panning on the walls. How I did it to myself, craving a hip, practice land, sleeping on my bed is cold inside.
Alrighty, they've been drying for about maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. So we're going to start unwrapping it now and just having a look at the work.
I wish you fall out from the window, take a bad trip to the ground. Ooh. And bring the pleasure, see your pressure just before you break a bone. I wish you fall out from the window, take a bad trip to the ground.
And considering this was my first time, I thought these came out really well. The black background really gives the graphite grey this awesome, aggressive look, or at least I think so anyway. Having left the alloys to dry for another hour or so, we just had to put the wheels back on the car.
Now, granted, we are missing parts, but come on. It is really starting to look like a car now. I mean, goodness. Obviously, we got the mud guard. We're still waiting on that. We're still waiting on the bits to go. Sort of the air ducts, the mesh grille. Still yet to arrive. I've been told they should be next week. But goodness, that is so nice to see that car sort of looking quite whole again. I feel quite proud, actually. Not gonna lie. Oh, beautiful car. Now the alloys look okay, to be honest. Definitely better than they were. Before they were probably a 3, now they're probably a 6 or a 7. Something like that. So it looks a lot better than it did. Oh, it's getting close now to getting this car on the road. Now don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have done so much more today and yesterday, but we're still waiting on parts, and I guess that's just the name of the game when you're sort of rebuilding these cars. A lot of the times the parts are expensive and they take quite a while to arrive. But you know, what can we do, I guess? So definitely haven't done as much in this video, but hopefully next week, once the new parts are in, we'll get them all fitted and this will be pretty much ready to go off to the body shop. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next week. Cheers now.